Sage Northcutt did not fight because his cornerman couldn't be in his corner. And it happened over the weekend, one championship. I mean, what do you make of that, right? What do you make of that? And Sage Northcutt strikes me as one of the purest martial artists that we still have. One of the purest. It's about respect. It's about honor. Hard work, discipline, focus. Win right because you lived right. That's how he strikes me. And I think it's on brand that if he didn't have his specific cornerman, who I believe is his father, I know his father is very involved, I give him a pass. I don't have a hard time with it. I will tell you, though, I don't see a lot of it with pros. And pros and adults, amateurs and children, generally go hand in hand. The proper and the professional way to handle that is to follow the absolute golden rule. The show must go on. But from a more childish standpoint, a lot of times you're not going to cross the street if mom or dad isn't there to hold your hand. That's what you've been taught. You do it out of respect. This is something that we do together. And it was just an interesting one. I mean, had anybody else done it, I think I would snicker at them. I think I'd laugh. I think I'd laugh and tease that his dad wasn't in his corner if it was anyone else. I accept it in its entirety with Sage. And I think he didn't do it because he was scared. I think he did it to be polite. I mean, look, there is a lot of ways to get out of a fight. And there's not any industry that I've ever seen where you have guys that want to fight less. They will. They are willing to do it. If all of these boxes get checked off, from the opponent to is he Salta or Orthodox, what is his experience level? When's the last time that he fought? Who trains with him? If you can start checking some of these boxes, then ultimately get down to the giant carrot that you dangle in front of us, we'll go out there and fight. But there's not a lot of other things. I had a coach, Chuck Kearney, and practice was different if Chuck wasn't there. Everybody in the room looked to Chuck, and they looked up to Chuck, and they wanted to please Chuck. You understand how practice rooms get like this. Almost everyone has a guy, exactly what I just described. And Chuck, Coach Kearney, when he would go to recruit somebody, he would not tell us. Like if he had to fly to Oklahoma, I remember Oklahoma specifically, he went out to go sit with Branson Phillips' father. And Chuck didn't tell us, well, this is a 2 and a 3 day trip. He's got to get to Oklahoma, then he's got to do the recruit park, then he's got to return to Eugene. He doesn't tell us he's gone. And when Chuck comes back, we all like, you knew you were going to be gone, and you didn't tell any of us. And Chuck said, I can't be there at 4 p.m. in the NCAA quarterfinals. I can't be there on Saturday morning at noon in the NCAA championship match. Whether I'm there or I'm not, I've handed you the skills. I've handed you the abilities. You know how to warm up. You know the appropriate attire. You know to put your foot on the line. You know to follow the rules. And ultimately, you know if you want your hand raised, you got to have more points than that guy did when time ran out. I will not be there at all times in life to hold your hand, which is why I didn't tell you when I went on this recruiting trip this time, and I'm not going to tell you the next time I go on a recruiting trip. You are expected to do what you have been trained to do with or without me, and that was just the lesson. And I don't give at all. I really don't give Sage a tough time. I know that he's not going to get paid, for example. And I know those opportunities are getting turned around and getting back in there fast. I know so that's something at one championship that many people have not been pleased about. They want better activity. They want better and more active schedules. You can't expect something if you're not going out there. We can chalk it up to a learning lesson. I'm not going to be one of the guys that teases Sage about this, but there is a very realisticness to martial arts and why you got it in the first place. For that confidence to be able to go and cross the street on your own. For the confidence to know that you can handle yourself on your own. And in the world of excuses for guys in the tough guy business, the world of things that they'll look or turn to be one of the guys that doesn't have to show his toughness. I will tell you, a corner man or a lack of corner man, this is a new one for me. But knowing Sage personally and knowing that it's a family affair, I also think that it's very on brand. I hope he does get rebooked soon. But if he's out there with how to coach, or if he's out there and he's looking to expand his team and maybe have more coaches, there is a guy named Chuck Kearney. Myself and other guys that trained under Chuck Kearney, we know we have our job to do. And as much as we want Dad there watching, as much as we want that appreciation, he spent a lot of time training us for the time that he won't be there. And regardless of who was going to be in the corner, regardless if that was a new obstacle to climb or not, that's what you were presented. And he should have done the match.